Friday, June the 16th, 2023, and I'm back in West Berkshire today, Mortimer. Last did this walk 10 years ago, March time. Book 1, walk 33, the last one I did in book 1, but although it was done on this handycam, not on the mobile, it needs redoing because on that day the ground was absolutely sodden, and as I commented at the time, probably the wettest walk I've ever done. So hopefully today, which is an absolutely cracking day, about 24 degrees at the moment, the ground should be very different. It can be done either as a 10 mile to Feel, sorry, that's a 14 mile version, 12 mile to Nijham stroke Walhampton, or 10 mile to Aldermaston. Depending on what the situation is when I reach Aldermaston, I'll make a judgment call on which version I'm going to do today. Probably the 12 miler, but let's see. I originally did the 14 mile version to Till, even in the wet conditions, but I didn't successfully film everything because of the wet conditions. Once again today, unusually, or perhaps not so now, we have an easterly stroke northeasterly breeze, which is very welcome on the hot day like today is. But it is, as I've said before, interesting that the prevailing southwesterlies seem to have been shunted out. So let's watch that space. It's around 12:30 now, should be done by around 6. So let's crack on and see what awaits. You get a small taster there of what does await. It's going to be a mixture today of commons, woodland, which will be welcome in the afternoon section or later afternoon section, and possibly the canal side as well. So let's crack on. Crossing over Foundry Brook, which becomes a significant part of this walk apparently throughout the walk. Passing St Mary's, Stratfield on my left here. Slightly closer view. And then we come out into open country, and I'm assuming that that post there is meant to be the yellow painted way marker, but colour's worn off it. Now, as you can see already, just a few minutes into the walk, the the ground conditions are massively different to last time, so that bodes well. Right, cross this metal footbridge, but the GPX track would seem to indicate that it continues straight on here alongside the brook, so I don't think that's right. You certainly don't go diagonally left, but it is indicating a path ahead of us here which no longer seems to exist. Let's see what this brings us to. Nope, my eyesight, the path is on the left hand side of the brook, so all's well. Okay, that sound in the tree, which I've had trouble with in the past, is, according to my new Bird Nerd app, a pied flycatcher. Can't see it, but European pied flycatcher. Number of coloured flags out in the field, indicating probably something in the soil might affect the combine. Unsure about that, but logic would say so. whitethroat behind me, pretty sure. Yes indeedy, confirmed by the app. So this app, BirdNerd, is proving to be quite useful, confirming what I already know and helping me with what I don't. Grey heron there flying up from the brook. Which is still on my left. Plenty of bird's foot trefoil in this field. Still with the brook on my left. Views from Brockus Lands Farm, which is just behind me. There. I must say this easterly breeze, very welcome today. Further agricultural views on my left as I leave the road now and go down an earthen track. Voila. Some young bullocks over there. Hopefully won't be seeing too many of those today. Bit hot for them, which is again why they're under that tree. Very cleverly designed bird box there. Most appropriate for an oak. It's even got oak leaves on it. So we now enter Hampshire, which is another new county for me reporting wise if I encounter any problems. And I would just add that I haven't heard anything back from Suffolk on those reports I made last week, which doesn't bode well for what 3 words. Onward journey straight across this field, though it is suggested you go left and then up the boundary by the hedge. So I'm taking the advice to follow the boundary edge up towards the pylons, because had I gone straight across the field anyway, you've got to do a left and meet the pylon ahead of me in any case. Chinook. Wonder if that's headed for Wiltshire. So about 100 yards before that pylon, do a left here through what looks to be a newly installed kissing gate. And that's interesting. Didn't realise that formed part of our route today. Still in Hampshire. Just for a short spell today, mind. Another week, another pylon run. And it is only a week now, less actually, till the longest day, which is rather sad, because I feel this year has flown by. We haven't really had a decent spring, and it's already midsummer. So come the 21st, get about a plateau of a week with sunsets, and then it's downhill. How depressing. Now in a very cooling, sunken byway by the looks of it, which is actually part of the track I was on earlier, where it veered off left. Now entering one of the highlights of the walk, Silchester Roman city. English heritage maintained. We're now entering the Roman amphitheatre. And unlike last time, got a group of people behind me, so that's rather annoying. They should turn up just as I have. Had it all to myself back on that rainy or wet March day. But that's a sign of the current COVID times, post-COVID times. More people out and about, less at work it seems. Now apparently they've seen all there is to see, the architects, not the architects, but the archaeologists is what I meant, and everything has been recovered with earth to prevent it being vandalised or destroyed by nature. So you can research this place. Calleva Atrebatum online, because there's too many people around today to get any good shots, unfortunately. But that's what they reckon it used to look like back in the day. So that's effectively Roman Silchester we've just been to. Just outside the church now, which I'll have a look at in a second. Information panel here about Calleva Atrebatum. And next to that, information about the Silchester Trail. A circular walk from this point of up to 8 miles, which is a nice one. Looking at it, Diocese of Winchester. Unfortunately this church comes just a tad early in the walk. I'm going to try and find the same place I had my lunch previously, on the playing field I think it was, near the recommended pub. There are plenty of seats here as well, interestingly. And the recommended pub stop isn't that much further on either, but I will press on. Inside the church, wonderful place. Lovely and cool in here. The old church bells above me. Little information panel here about the datings of the church. Yeah, and this is some interesting organ. Amazing. And there's even an information sheet here about that, which I'm sure you could find online. Even the notes, specification of. Now I was reading an article yesterday about reed spreading, how that used to take place in churches, because back in the day they used to have mud basically on the floor, and the author of that article seemed to think that most churches these days had wooden floors. But in my experience, down south anyway here, most of the floors are stone. So unless she was writing from a northern perspective, I don't know. But yeah, Reed Spreading Day comes up soon, in July I believe. One to research if you're interested. Wonderful bit of leaded light here. Certainly plenty of blue bottles in the place as well. They obviously appreciate the cool. Yeah, you've got carpet here with wood underneath, I can sense. And looking back, it's quite a short church, but quite broad. Wonderful little hand sanitizer there. Another great solid oak. What kind of wood is that? No idea. But I was reading another article about the restoration of these doors. Tremendous amount of work goes into it. So a parting shot of St Mary's before we get onto the walls. Now, as you can see, these walls continue for a good mile ahead there, but I'm not going to be following that. So as you can see, we're on top of the walls now, next to this lane. Amazing bit of history here that we're following. Final view back at St Mary's. Amazing to think all this was walled in once, or still is to a degree. So the wall swings round to the right here, but we drop down to continue alongside it on the path. And now we get to see the walls from a different perspective. Quite amazing, really. About 25 foot up there, I'd say, at the moment, what's left of it. Information panel here telling us about the Roman town defences, built around AD 270, ran for a length of around 2.5 kilometres. Yeah. Another information panel here telling us about an Iron Age tribal centre which predated Calleva. And that's just ahead of us here. although you'd never know, eh? Great work these archaeologists do, eh? So the last section is through woodland, very welcome it is as well. Got a ditch on my left down there. And the wall on my right. And what sounds like a black cap ahead of me. So we're now following this wider path on the Brenda Parker Way, which I have come across in the past. I think that was probably just established when I last did this walk in 2013. The old chiff chaff. Wonderful field of, has to be chamomile surely. Wouldn't grow a field of oxized daisies. Yeah, I wonder if that's chamomile for my bedtime tea. Could go in and get Google to answer. Well, Google's not too sure on this occasion, bringing up both oxeye and chamomile. But I would suggest that's probably chamomile, grown as a crop. The former Calleva Museum. Now coming into more gorsy terrain. Passing Silchester C of E primary school there, and for now we do a left onto Silchester Common and the recommended lunchtime stop. Now last time, with the threat of rain, I had my lunch on the benches outside that pavilion. The recommended pub is across the common over there, the Calleva Arms. Or Calleva even, but my choice today is that seat over there. It's even got a rubbish bin next to it, which is handy, and it's not too far from the onward journey either. Village sign over there just in distance. Can't get any closer unfortunately. Plenty of chiff chaffs around here. So no dedication this week, bit rickety as well, but that'll do. It's 3:15, just over 4.5 mile in, so a slow steady pace again today. Anyway, let's have some lunch, see if that charges me up a bit. 3:15, lunch has been had. Chiff chaffs are still singing. Time to press on as the school kids leave that school. So having just come back past the school, do not continue straight ahead there, but take this path right into gorse and silver birch. Looks like it's been opened up a bit since the text was written, because it's hardly faint. Now entering Benyon's enclosure with an eye part of the Englefield estate.
Total distance 5 miles. Total time 2 hours 21 minutes and 19 seconds. Split pace 25 minutes 51 seconds per mile.
So you got that. Sorry for the intrusion. And this is just what the doctor ordered, as it hits around 28 now. Mainly Scots Pine, but the more localised beech here, which is more suited to this terrain. Wonderful. Coming up to the apogee of birdsong now. Towards the end of the month it will die away, unfortunately. So the old blackbirds, thrushes and chiffchaffs. Well, the chiffchaffs tend to go on through the summer actually, along with the other summer visitors, like the white throat. There's a lovely great tit over there. And they're very quiet now, considering how noisy they were just a few months back. Even got a few oaks down here in this dip. And this track is pretty good walking. Straight as a die, dry as a bone today. Very different to the last time I did this walk, thankfully. Interesting, someone's rescue dog has lost its contact details there. Maybe the finder of that tab should have given the phone number a call, let them know. And now eerily quiet as the pines dominate. About halfway through now. Lots of gravel workings around this area. Just before I hit the road ahead of me. They've crossed over the road by the looks of it from Padworth Common into the woodland here. And what was the woodland floor now looks like loads of mulch. So there's money to be made every which way with these workings by the looks of it. And then of course when the workings are finished they'll replant hopefully. Got to do a bit of road walking here. It's quite busy as well. Okay, as this road is so busy, I'm going to try the new reinstated path next to this property called Windy Whistles. And as you can see, there is a potential here for it to be overgrown, but lesser of two evils. Overgrown versus fast flowing traffic oncoming towards me. So as I say, let's try this new reinstated route across the common. You could follow the road for another 200 yards and stick with the roads, but I'm going to take the common route. And this variant may have been what I did 10 years ago in any case, because it has been closed for a period of time according to the comments page of these notes. Passing the rear of some grand houses on my left. It's got a lot cloudier now, sun's disappeared. Nice and cool in here now. Might be some rain overnight, not sure. So on my right you've got the former workings of Burnt Common. Okay, sun's back out. Now walking along a very nice gorse-lined path, but as the notes suggest, plenty of trip hazards with rabbit holes under your feet. And I do not want to break my ankle a second time. bike accident was bad enough. Not so long back, as you can see, this was a quagmire down there in that ditch, and that's how it was when I last did this walk, I'm pretty sure. Not today though, very pleasant. So it seems there is a path running parallel to the one I've just come from, up to this minor junction here under the pylons, where we continue right after 5 metres across the common. Wonderful, this common land. Well, it is when it's dry underfoot, but as you can see it does have the potential for being very wet, as it was when I last did it. I can hear the hum of traffic in the background somewhere though. So there is a path here across this 3-plank bridge into the woodland, but our onward journey is left here, half left. Approaching that traffic sound by the looks of it. So having come out by the bus stop and crossed that busy road, I'm now in the driveway to the croft, about to follow a bridleway, newly stoned by the looks of it. This section could certainly be a problem in the wetter months, being a bridleway. Grimm's Bank off to the left there, straight on for us. Now I'm not sure which county I'm in here, but fallen finger post that might need reporting on what 3 words. Back in West Berkshire, by all accounts a buried BP petrol depot behind this fence. Passing Jubilee Day Nursery with its donkeys. Still got BP oil on my right. I can smell it at the moment. Following this leafy bridleway down towards Padworth College. There is Padworth College. Now following this path down to Padworth Church. Quite a rare sight now. The not so common rabbit. Or is it a rabbit? Got very long ears. Could be a hare. Was lying in the sun when I disturbed it. So here we are in front of the church at Padworth, the old war memorial. There is a path right into the woodland. Our onward journey's left though. That's interesting. That would have been under the old YTS, Youth Training Scheme, which was around when I left school. Pebble Dash Church with a tile roof. Can't say I've come across too many of these. Wonderful yew tree. Wonder how many thousands of years old this one is. Right in front of the entrance. 100-year-old seat. There's a list of rectors here from AD 1297. Amazing, eh? Up to when? Well, at least 98, so whoever Paul Chaplin MA is could still be the rector. Diocese of Oxford here as well. Church door's locked, unfortunately. Well, the yew tree was 300 years old in 1988, sorry. So nothing like as old as I thought it was. Still, it's a good innings. Yeah, from a distance it doesn't look that old, does it? Not gnarled enough. Yeah, time does stand still in Padworth. Totally wrong. Seems like the swifts have got a nest up there somewhere, I believe. Yep, God rest their souls. So by the 5 concrete mushrooms and the stables, we take a right. Yeah, this bit brings back memories. I remember at this stage I was absolutely disillusioned, sodden. So it looks like the path now brings you down the track, as opposed to what the text says, down that field, which I think it used to be from memory, because as I say, I was soaked by that stage, certainly in the footwear department. And now we have this new gate and signage by the looks of it. Looking back whence I've come, didn't notice the big house, mind you, coming down, hidden behind trees. Lovely position there. A little brook on my right, which we're just about to cross over. And below me there's a cuckoo again. Bit late in the year to sing. Obviously hasn't found a mate. But this is definitely their terrain. Stop singing now. If he starts again, I'll grab him. So the hidden finger post in that elderberries are covering it up. But there's the footbridge we cross over now. Forearm finger post or foot pointing the same way. At least there's plenty of water in the brooks and streams at the moment. How long that will last though, God only knows. Point 40 of the text refers to a missing kissing gate, but it looks like it's now been replaced with one of the very good aluminium gates. That comment made in September 2021, obviously nearly 2 years on. Something's been put in its place. I can hear the weir in the background, which I'm about to cross. Quite amazing. Middle of June, We've got a full torrent here. Wonderful. This is the River Kennet, which obviously becomes a canal at some point. So we've got information panel here about the Kennet Millennium Salmon Pass project, which I'm stood on at the moment. The salmon can't get through the weirs, so there's a little slower section here which enables them to travel up and down. Wonderful, isn't it? How man can cooperate with nature. Things are in harmony then. But most of the time that's not the case. And this is where the salmon enter. Now I've got to make a judgment call shortly about my onward journey. It's coming up 5 o'clock. Quite amazing. And a very cooling section of walking now into Padworth. Passing Mill Lane Lodge, where you can buy bird tables, bird boxes and anything made from wood really. And that's all part of the Steiner Waldorf Home Education Centre, ages 0 to 14. So here we are, just as the bridge is up. Glorious way of living, isn't it, on a motorhome? Sorry, on a canal boat. Motorhome would also be a nice way of living, to be honest. Nice combination, have a motorhome and a canal boat. Wonderful. Right, judgment time. Walhampton 2 mile along the canal, or Aldermaston 1/4 mile to the station. It's up past 5 now, and conscious that the train is around 6:20 here. I don't think I'm going to get to Walhampton in sufficient time to get home for a reasonable hour. This is a 2.5 hour journey minimum, and I'll probably take the Elizabeth line variant from Reading to avoid a lot of hassle at Paddington and getting on overloaded trains going into Paddington. So I might have a swift one at the pub, not sure, the Butt Inn I think it's called. Be unusual for me, seeing as I don't drink. So here we are, back at Aldermaston in the end, not Midgham as I anticipated. Wouldn't have worked time wise, unfortunately. I'm getting a bit slower pace wise, I noticed recently. Something to do with my feet. They're not working properly, and it's not the neuroma side that's the problem, it's the other foot these days, with some tendinopathy that needs dealing with, and that's more perturbing than the neuroma, I feel. But anyway, let's get it sorted. So that was a very good 10 miler, just over 4 hours, far better than the last time I did it. Makes a whole heap of difference when it's dry, so that's not a walk I'd recommend in the rain or after it, because the nature of the land means it's going to be wet underfoot and horrible. So I didn't fancy the look of the Butt Inn either on a Friday night. So I've come straight to the station. It's only half hour to the next train anyway to Reading, and as I say, I'll get the Lizzie line thereafter, just to avoid all the Friday night crowds at Paddington. straight through to Farringdon for me, and then north. So that's book 1, walk 33, completed again after 10 years. So until the next time, take care.